It's time for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Join your host, the accomplished Dr. Cherilyn Lee, as she welcomes the leading experts in health and well-being as they explore the advancements in natural health, physical fitness, nutrition, integrative medicine, and self-discovery.
Good day, everyone. Good day. I know I was sitting here looking surprised. Well, I am so happy to be here. Another wonderful day. And I have a wonderful, wonderful guest. You know, we all go through trials and tribulations, but when you can go through and come through and look as good as this guest here and feel good, it's all about your quality of life. The title of our show is Inflammatory, IBS, which means inflammatory breast cancer and health. Now, my guest did not have inflammatory breast cancer. I'm bringing that to the table today, but we're going to first speak with her. We are going to talk about, I will be speaking on some nutritional aspects, some do's and don'ts, and prevention, especially because there's so many types of cancers now. But IBS is one that's very rare and non-detectable with a mammogram, as people know, and very seldomly detected with an MRI. So we had to use heat physiology to actually detect inflammatory breast cancer. And heat physiology is thermographic machine that I have in my office, along with thermography that most people know about. But it's so important that you have this done. I'm the only one in the world that's doing this under my nonprofit. And people should be beating down my doors to have this test done, because this is early screening. And if anybody have listened to Doris Mosley's testimony, you know that she had a mammogram 3 months, probably for 3 months before I met her, to have the thermography, and her mammogram was negative. And when we did her test, we found it early. And she just reminded me that was almost 10 years ago. So, you know, I'm just truly a blessing. So my wonderful guest today, which I am so excited that she's sharing her journey. And I don't like the survivor, yes, but she's thriving and moving in so many different directions that I thank God for her. So my guest today is
Carlita Hodges.
And she is wonderful. Look at all those people cheering her. But, you know, it is truly a blessing to have you here. And I thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here and share with my audience your journey. You know, how you found what was going on. I don't tend to use the C word a lot. I just say abnormal cells. Okay?
Nice word.
Yes, abnormal, which they are. There's some abnormal cells there, abnormal tissue, instead of putting a lot of emphasis on that word, that C word, okay? Yeah. So you want to start by telling people a little bit about yourself. I know I had your bio. Your bio will be placed on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Just want people to know if you missed the show, share it with everyone, but everything will be placed there as well. So tell everybody a little bit about you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you.
So I'm Carlita Hodges. I am an ex-basketball wife. I'm a writer, and I'm a mother of 3. And
Are you?
Yeah.
What are the ages?
33, 34, and 11.
You're kidding. What a gap there, huh? How did that feel?
A lot of work.
Oh, I can't imagine.
And I can't imagine life without her.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
I have 2 boys that are adults, and she was my gift. She was definitely a gift for so many reasons.
2 sons and a daughter.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my. I have 3 daughters and never had a son, so.
Oh, wow. Wow, yeah.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So you want me to start with my experience with the...
Well, just tell everybody who you are first, a little bit more about who you
Okay.
are.
Well, I'm a writer. Said that. I mean, again, I'm excited to be here. I've been writing since I had my daughter.
Okay.
She gave me that inspiration. And right now I'm working on, I wrote a book. It's called Carlita's Way Out of the Dark into the Light, My Journey. It's an autobiography. Okay. And right now I'm working on a sitcom.
Say that a little slower, because I want people to purchase that book.
Okay. It's called, you can go to Amazon.
Okay.
And it's called Carlita's Way Out of the Dark into the Light, My Journey.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and it's
I
about
love that title.
my life back then.
Okay.
Yeah, and then right now I'm working on, as I have been when I was ill, I'm working on a sitcom. And
Okay.
it's called Me Plus One, Starting Over. And it's about my
Oh.
journey with my daughter. Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a comedy drama.
Okay.
And can't wait to get it on the air.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness, it sounds wonderful.
It
Maybe
is.
I'll have a little part in there, just walking past the.
Okay, we can
Not
do
trying
that.
to be an actress. No, that's not my field. I stay in my lane. But I just
Yeah.
want to thank you so much. And how long ago were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed November 2016.
Okay.
And I didn't believe it. Let me tell you a little bit about how this happened.
Yes.
My little girl was 10 at the time, and it was a Sunday, the week before Thanksgiving. And she didn't want her hair combed because I was getting her ready for school.
Okay.
And I was like, Katie, sit down. Let's do this. And a commercial came on, and my daughter's very inquisitive.
Okay.
So this commercial about mammograms came on, and she says, well, Mommy, what's that? So I gave her the A to the Z on
Okay.
what it was. Okay. And so she jumped up, and I was like, girl, you better come on and sit down so I can finish. We got to go to bed.
Yes.
And she goes, well, no. Well, how would you know if you have a lump in your breast? And I was like, I don't have a lump in my breast. Sit down. And she's, Mommy, how would you know? And so I'm looking at her like, okay. So what I did was I showed her on my left side.
Yes.
I said, now sit down. This is what my child did. She says, Mommy, you have 2 of those.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
So I did the other
Okay.
one, and my face changed. And she goes, you have a lump? I said, I do. I really
my
do.
Goodness.
And I was taken aback by it.
Yes.
And so we went to bed. Of course, I didn't sleep. So the next morning when I woke up, I called the doctor and
Yes.
made me an appointment. I dropped her off at school and I went to the doctor. But the first thing she said when she woke up, she goes, did the lump go away this morning? And I was like, honey, it don't work like that.
And she was how old again?
10.
10 years old.
Yeah, she's a gift.
Oh, I know she is.
She's definitely a
I
gift.
know she is.
Yeah. And so,
In more ways than one.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oof.
Yes.
So I went to the doctor, and they said what they said. They didn't really want to really test it, and so I made a little fuss, like, we're testing this today. We're doing this today.
Yes.
And so we did the test. I didn't get the test back until after Thanksgiving.
And what type of test did they do?
They did a biopsy.
A biopsy. Okay.
Yeah, they did a biopsy.
Okay.
Boy, did it hurt.
Yes.
Yeah, they
that's
did-
what people tell me.
They did a biopsy. The test came back, and I went to the doctor that following week. It was a Tuesday. And they gave me the news. And I took a friend with me. And she and I were there. And she started crying. And so I looked at her. I was like, why are you crying? And she goes, I'm so hurt. She says, you really have this. And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, please. So I looked at the doctor. I said, so where do we go from here? Because, like, I have a kid at home. And we need to get past this.
Right.
Because I am not going to keep this in my body, 1. And 2, I'm living.
Yes.
I mean, it's not a death sentence. So I went home and I told my family. Everybody was sad, and I was like, it's okay. We're gonna get this done.
Yes.
So what I decided to do.
And that is a good high percentage of your healing. You're accepting and knowing that this isn't mine. It's not going to
Right.
stay in my body.
It didn't belong there.
And then that starts the journey of healing, even right there. When people say, my tumor, my cyst, my abnormal cells, you're giving it more power in your body. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
look
And
at
words
that.
are important.
Yes.
Words are important.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So after that, I decided to go on a cleanse because I had 1,000,001 questions. And I thought, I'm not going to rush this. What I'm going to do is cleanse myself. And that's what I did. I went on a 30-day cleanse and got through Christmas, and I felt perfect. I never felt sick in the first place. And then I did that for 30 days. And I totally went off meat. And I, of course, took in a lot of water. And I drink Kangen water.
Okay.
I totally live by Kangen water because it's body. What it does is it puts your body
Well,
in a position
yes.
to heal itself. So
Well, Kangen water but there's so many other avenues
okay.
that are less expensive for alkalizing the body. Kangen water is an alkalizing. It's an alkaline water.
Yes.
But it does not truly alkalize the body. There's been tests that have been done. Now, what you can do is take lemon and water. It alkalizes the water. Green products alkalize the body. And I tell people the best way to alkalize your body is to meditate. Meditate and relax, because any bitty little stress is going to really make the body more acid. Getting upset, angry, unforgiveness, a lot of that stuff just holds on. A lot of bitterness will make the body very, very acid. So keeping the body calm and happy, laughter alkalizes the body, will make the body heal a lot faster. So the joy is so important.
I get that, but I believe in this water.
But everybody is different. So, diet is always, important. But, they've done a lot of studies showing that when you believe in something, and the test that was done with water, even holding a glass of water, saying it's going to heal my body and it's going to do this, the power that you put from energy into the water itself. So it's been a lot of studies done with just regular water and how it changed the cluster pattern of the water by what you say. But, my theory is whatever's going to help, everybody's different.
Right.
And whatever's going to help that person to heal, I honor that, so we're not going to do an infomercial on
we're not.
Kangen water.
But I definitely drink it.
But
that's what I drink.
yeah.
So January, I had surgery. They let me go home the same day. I was in a lot of pain. And I was so sure, because I was meditating and doing what I had to do, but I did not want to have chemo.
Yes.
I didn't want that. So when I go back to the doctor 6 weeks later, I had to have chemo because they said it was aggressive. It was estrogen driven.
Yes.
And it was a foreign language to me, everything they were saying to me. So I would actually record the doctor because I needed to go home and hear it again. Because I was like, this is a lot to take in. So I took it in, and then I started chemo. The first day, I didn't have anybody to go with me because I didn't want anybody to go with me. I thought it was going to be Miss Tough. They sent me home because they was like, you need somebody.
Yeah.
So I went home. The next day, they gave me my first chemo. Okay. And I was good until 2 hours later. Yeah. And I thought, what is this feeling? It was the worst feeling. And truly, I was one of those people, and I'm not against chemo, but I'm not for it either. But
kind of a...
Yes, it's just like, why? But, I never felt anything like that. My body, I didn't know who it was. I thought, like, my brain is working, but nothing else is working like I didn't know what I was feeling. I thought, this is horrible.
Yes.
And so I had to have it every 2 weeks. So it would take me 9 days to get right. And they said they wanted you to run and work out. And I'm like, I can't even walk.
Oh, my goodness.
How am I going to run?
Yeah, I see that, yes.
So it was really hard. And then I had to switch doctors, and they took me from 2 weeks to every 3 weeks because my body wouldn't heal. So what I started doing was, of course, I was off meat, but I would make a bone marrow soup with kale and onions and
that is so healing.
Everything green.
It's almost like the bone broth that they're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I would let it cook for 24 hours, and I drank it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yes.
Because everything tastes horrible.
Yes.
And so between that and my water, that's what I had for almost 6 months. But the only thing was I didn't lose any weight. Like most people.
The bone broth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I was looking forward to losing a few pounds here and there, but I didn't lose any weight. I didn't lose any weight. I thought, okay. And so my mom came out. My youngest son came out because he lives in Chicago. He came out.
Yes.
And I was, when I tell you laughter heals the body.
Oh, I know. Yes.
I would watch comedy shows and I would go on YouTube just to laugh. I laughed myself to sleep.
Yes.
And I slept a lot. But my daughter, she would come in, and because I didn't have any hair, and I thought I was going to be the one that didn't lose her hair.
Yes, yes.
And so she is hilarious. She would come into the bathroom because my second chemo treatment, I still had hair.
Okay.
And so going to my third, when I went, my head was on fire. I'd be like, holy cow, what is this?
Like
on fire. It felt like my head was burning from the inside out.
Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So when I went to the treatment center, and I told the nurse, I said, my head is on fire. And she says, Carlita, you need to cut your hair. And I was like, it hasn't come out I would think it'd have come out by now.
Yeah.
My hair's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And so she said she would go give me a cold towel and then set me up for the chemo treatment. And then, oh my goodness, when I got home, I picked my ponytail up and it kept coming.
Oh, no.
My daughter screamed. And I was like, well, I didn't know. So I told her, I said, her name's Caitlin. I said, Caitlin, I needed
have a
that
granddaughter,
moment for
Caitlin.
me. Yeah. I was like, I needed that moment, girl. I needed to cry. So I never got to cry. I never got to cry about anything because I was more concerned about her.
Yes.
And I didn't want her to think like, well, I got to take care of my mommy. But she was in my face 24/7 and be like, Katie,
Oh, beautiful.
go sleep. Yeah, and she would wake me up like this. Are you woke? I mean, she's hilarious. She is really funny, and she can cook. So she would.
Oh, what a blessing.
And she
My
loved.
Caitlin don't cook.
My Caitlin she can do breakfast well, but I wasn't eating much. But she could heat up my bone marrow soup, and she'd be like, "I made some for me too, okay, mommy?" And I'd be like, "Okay, that's fine."
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so I got through that. And my last treatment, I was like, come on, 9 days, come on. And within 3 days, I was better. And I think it was mental because I was always thinking, like, oh, I got to do this again. So radiation came. 2 or 3 weeks later, I had to start radiation. And that was easy because, again, I would soak myself with this water. And they said I would blister. I did discolor. And I didn't do any of those things. I didn't blister. I discolored a little bit, and they said it would take about 6 months. My color was back in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
What a blessing. So you were ahead of the game. Number one, taking your fluid intake.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly, the bone broth. Most people find out about the bone broth after. You started it before and during, and a lot of people don't know that. And so they heal fast after. They don't lose, if they've lost some weight from chemo radiation, they start to pick it back up. You didn't lose any, but you kept, your weight and not losing it and looking emaciated. What really kept you through all that too, which was a blessing.
I was scared of that too.
Yeah,
because
it's a blessing.
we tend to be a little
We
vain.
kind of remember what people look like, and when we went to go see people in their final stages, and we know what they look like, and it's like, oh no, because I was diagnosed a long time ago myself, and only thing initially, because I was in my 20s when they thought I might have ovarian during that time.
Okay.
And only thing I could think of, my kids are very young. My oldest is 43. They're 43, 42, 41. And they were babies at the time.
Okay.
And I left the hospital, and I just said, I don't want to look like the people that I saw in the hospitals. I don't want to look like that. Maybe I should just drive off the freeway and now, because I don't want, but I was a lot younger then, a lot younger. So come to find out I did not have it. Pull up my medical records, and they lied about a lot of things after doing surgery. They said I had huge tumors, which I didn't. It was the size of a pea. That was during the time they wanted to experiment on women to do surgery. So I was part of that experimental case doing ovarian surgeries during those years in the 70s, somewhere in the 70s. Wow. But I'm telling you, it's something to go through.
It's a lot.
It is.
It was a lot. Mentally, it was a lot. It was a lot for my family. And,
but you went actually through it, which is totally different. Just hearing that word puts you in a different,
I'm not scared of that word. My son, who's 33, had cancer at birth. And they told me at 3 years old he wouldn't live to be 5. He's 33. So the only thing I did say to the doctor at that time was, don't speak that over my child. That's what I remember telling him.
Yes.
And he's still here. And he's a blessing. So I'm not afraid of the word.
I'm not afraid of the word. I was just looking at the fact of how people go through it.
Oh, yeah.
When in my 20s, looking, thinking of that and how I've seen people in hospitals. And I was working hospitals at the time. I was in training. During that time, I'm like, oh, that was this part that I didn't want to see myself go through that. But the word itself, no, I said, no, I've had so many things. God has blessed me, I'm still here, still standing, and still walking on my own legs after wanting to amputate them. So, God is good.
All the time.
All the time. And that's why it's a blessing we're here today, meeting each other for the first time as you're on the show to share your journey, which is beautiful. And what I like people to know, don't give up.
Right.
Just because somebody give you and don't get into that self-fulfilled prophecy when somebody tell you have 3 months to live, a year to live. If you fall into that, you know,
You're gone.
you will be gone if you fall into it. You know,
Right.
but they have sent people home and say you have a couple of months to live or whatever. There's a lot of books written on a couple of people who said, okay, I'm going on a cruise. I'm going here. I'm going to take this product with me, and it's a whole food product, and I'm going to stay on this product. And they're still living, and that was, 20, 30 years ago, and they're in good health. They go back to the doctor, they find nothing
Right.
because they let go of that.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful being around people, too, that, oh, baby, are you okay?
Right.
And people will do that. It's like, it's not a comforting type
Right.
thing when they do that neither. You have to be around positive people with a positive outlook. I'm on a nutritional program to stay healthy. I'm not on a special diet. I'm just on a diet to eat to live.
Exactly.
That's what I want to do. I want to eat to live.
Well, you do have to stay away from the people that say things like that. Plus, you have to not be afraid to ask them to be quiet. You have to, because through my journey, I've lost a few friends.
I'm sure.
You know, I had a friend that said, "I'm just so sorry. I don't know how to support you." I said, "No worries, go away."
Really? She said that?
Yeah, she didn't know how to support me, and that was okay because that was her.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm fine because a doctor can't. I mean, the doctor. I was younger when I had my kid, my second one, and when the doctor told me that about him, I was like, "You're not gonna age to be 5. How about that?" So, I don't think a doctor would tell that to me today because he's gonna get something back, and not
Yes.
being flippity whippity. But you can't say that to me
Yes.
because you're not. While I'm here.
Right.
I have
right.
something to do while I'm here. And so, but you meet so many beautiful souls going through this.
Yes, you
I've
do.
met so many beautiful souls. And let me say this, and not to give them a plug, but the American Cancer Society has been amazing to us.
Okay.
They've been amazing. They came out and cleaned my house. They would come pick me up. They just do stuff with no problem. Okay. They make you feel good
Were
about
you
yourself.
in the limelight during that time?
No, I stayed out of the camera.
Okay. Okay. But they knew who you were.
Not even at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of work with the American Cancer Society, smoking cessation programs. I used to teach all that at their corporate level facilities. Yeah.
Okay. But
So they have some good points, and I'm so glad they were there for you.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
so glad they were there for you.
I have done fashion shows, but no, I don't stay in the limelight with this. I'm behind the scene, and I'm with a breast cancer group. And, you know, there are days when you want to cry. There are days when you are sad. And it's not that you stay there, but you get to go there.
Yes.
I remember when I was diagnosed and I first joined the group, I was angry. I was angry for so many reasons. And I thought, and it wasn't even about why me. I'm just like, how am I do this? I got a kid.
Right.
That was more than anything. And so I had to, when I went there, and I was ashamed to cry. I was like, I'm going to sit here and I'm not going to cry. I'm just going to look. And I could not stop bawling. I couldn't stop. And
I like to see the full you, and this bottle just blocks me to see the full
Okay.
you. That's the only thing.
Okay.
The full you.
So
You're such a beautiful lady, and I'm
Thank
so
you,
thankful again
Dr.
that you're
Lee.
here. Yes.
yeah, and so I started bawling. I mean, bawling. And the hugs they gave me, and they said, let it out. Because I was scared to cry at home because if I cried, I thought everybody would be scared. Like, oh, my
Right.
God, she thinks she's going to die. And so I cried. That was my first good cry, that one meeting. And after that, I've been at that meeting every month, and it's been the best system. Yeah. And I think that one thing I want to say, because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month,
Yes.
I can't tell people enough, check your breast.
Yes.
Check your breast. And if you feel anything under your arms, check your breasts. If you feel any kind of something that just don't feel right, go check it. And just don't go with one check. Come see Dr. Lee. For real, for real.
Thank you.
And don't be scared.
And if you inbox me, everything on me is Carlita Hodges. I'll go to the doctor with you. I promise. I will sit with you.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Yeah. The only thing I can't do is I can sit close to you when you're getting chemo, but I cannot see the chemo bags because it makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
I cannot see them. That's
And
my
the
issue.
radiation too. You want to be careful.
Yeah, you can't go in anyway.
No,
with them.
you can't.
Yeah.
It reminded me quickly of one of my patients who she refused radiation. That was her choice. And this is before I met her. She said, I told the doctor I do not want radiation. So he tried to influence her for, I don't know. He went on and on and on. Brought in staff members, please help me convince her she needs radiation. So she finally sat there and said, okay, doctor, I will have the radiation just as long as you're holding my hand. And he said, I can't do that. So she said, neither can I.
Oh.
And that ended that conversation.
See?
But everybody, like I said, everybody's different. And I take people who come to me into my clinic, it's where you are. If you're having chemo radiation, that is what you want to do. I just help support you through that whole journey. The one thing that I'm happy about is that we do have the machine again. It's called CRT. It's on our website. And the CRT, contact reflex thermographic machine, was given to me, and as I said before, through a company out of Canada. The machine is out of Germany.
Okay.
And it will detect, it's FDA approved for screening for breast cancer. So it's under my nonprofit. The reason why I say that, and I want to get into a little of that right now too, on inflammatory breast cancer, IBS, which is a triple negative breast cancer. So there's a triple negative, and then there's a triple negative IBC.
Okay.
So there's kind of two, and when they first started, they're such an aggressive form that they would tell people, less than a year, with this form. But if you find things early, this is one reason why I like this machine, because this CRT machine deals with heat physiology. And heat physiology is what's happening with inflammatory, including abnormal cells and inflammation, dealing with heat. So it's a small little probe that touches the body.
Okay.
And there's 119 acupuncture points. I wondered if we have time to show a little bit of the video. Okay. So, but the good thing about it is, number one, normally any doctor that has the machine, that, have to buy it, the visit is $400 and more. And so with me, they gave me the machine because I told them my goal is to do, and still I'm doing this, breast health walkathon.
Oh, good.
I don't use the C word, so just breast health. That's why the title of this show is that way. But inflammatory breast cancer is, I want to say that I'm hoping my dear friend is watching the show, Jocelyn Earls, who have a nonprofit. I'm part of her group there called Fighting for the Tatas.
Okay.
Yeah, Fighting for the Tatas. So I want to say that we were in Sacramento this year.
Okay.
And the bill was passed for Inflammatory Breast Cancer Awareness Day.
Okay.
Now, I was out of the country last weekend when they had their Awareness Day, and was told by the senator, the assemblywoman, I think there of her district out in the Inland Empire, that now it is a national holiday.
Great.
Yes, so Inflammatory Breast Cancer Awareness Day, because not enough women know about it.
Right.
And the sad thing about inflammatory breast cancer is that you don't have a lump.
Oh,
It's no mass. It's no lump.
scary.
And that's why it's not detectable with a mammogram, because it's no lump. So you look, and I want women to really start looking at their breasts. I had an interview on another show, and a lot of people stand up in the mirror. We get dressed. We put on, our natural makeup, our natural makeup and our non-chemical lipstick, if we want to wear some. But we want to make sure we look at our body naked, standing there. Take a look at your breast. We don't look at our body. We just do what we need to do with our face and hair, and we just move on. But stand there and raise both arms. Look at your breasts and make sure that the nipples are pointing in the same direction. Make sure the nipples are not inverted. Those things are very important. Make sure the skin around the breast with inflammatory breast cancer, make sure the skin is not a different color in one area and a darker color in another area. Start doing this every day, because sometimes you say, oh, you know what? I didn't even know this was here. And it's been there for months and you didn't notice it.
I totally agree, because like naturally I was, as an adult, a A cup forever.
Okay.
And I had my daughter at 46. I did. And these came.
Okay.
A D cup. And I thought, this is not normal, because they wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
And then my mammogram started coming back. I see something, but it's okay. So I would bug my doctor. And I switched doctors after this came about. Because if you saw something, talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to.
You have to be your own advocate, too.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But see, I didn't know what I didn't know. Had I known, like, okay, you keep telling me third time that you see something, but it's nothing. It's got to be something. So let's explore this. Had I had this explored a little further, it's a possibility I could have caught this even earlier.
Yeah. Or if you had a thermography, a thermograph exam, we would have seen. This is why there's so many people. I've actually been doing this greater than 10 years.
Wow.
And the people who started off with me, and a lot of them said, okay, I'm going to do something about it. One was a couple of relatives. That started off, and it's like they didn't believe it. Their doctors told them that you don't have breast abnormal cells. Who told you this? Because with this test, we know the results within seconds.
Okay.
You don't have to come back and wait for results or a report. We know right then while you're in the office. And so they left and they went to go see their doctor. Doctor said, no, it wasn't. The worst thing you want to do when there's any abnormal cells in the body is take a lot of antibiotics. The research shows that you don't want to do that.
Right.
But when it's inflammatory and they didn't know if it's inflammatory or not, then they're going to place you on antibiotics, because that's what it looks like. It looks like the skin is inflamed, because it's red and it's swollen and it's tender and it might be hot to the touch, which is inflammation.
Right, exactly.
But they don't test to see if it's inflammatory abnormal cells, IBC, or they don't test to see if it's any other type of form of cancers, the C word. But and then from there, you don't want to squeeze the breast and have a mammogram, not on a diseased breast. Wow. You don't want to do that. So the research is out there. It's not something I'm just saying. It isn't my theory. But what I'm saying is the research shows the more mammograms you have, the more your chances are of developing abnormal cells in the first place. So the research is there.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is that now my understanding, I was speaking to a friend of mine this morning, to actually Jocelyn, and she was saying they have now a 3D PET scan. It's a PET scan. But again, that's sugar. So my concern is, why don't you then design something that's going to be heat physiology and infrared, so you can find out what's going on faster? And you can. Everyone that I tested, the ones who stayed with a program, they did well. The ones who did not, unfortunately, are no longer here with me.
Wow.
They called me from different hospitals and say, I wish I'd listened.
Wow.
And it took like 5 or 6 years, 7 years. And there it is. But when we found it, long before, when there was small, few cells. So Doris Mosley is my spokesperson for women with abnormal cells, because she was the person that I met and told her to come have the test. She did. And there's a video of her. I wish people would, take the time and listen to Doris Mosley, who is a cosmetologist, and among other stuff, she does a lot of things too.
Okay.
But to find out early. So inflammatory breast cancer now has its own awareness day. Wow. More doctors are being open to it. My friend, Jocelyn Earls, was diagnosed years and years ago, before people were really talking about it. So this is why she wanted, and she's so, and I'm with her, want to get the word out and have doctors trained to even how to look for it, because mainly doctors didn't know.
Right.
And a lot of them still don't. But they have started some other treatments, modulating type treatments, with some of the hospitals with, for IBC,
Okay.
and people are living longer. Now, quite naturally, everybody know that I have a clinic where I do a lot of other things as well.
Okay.
But there is something called IPT, where they have like, well, they'll do radiation therapy along with vitamin C therapy. That's what IPT really is.
Okay.
So some of the hospitals are coming on board and doing IV vitamin Cs with a lot of patients. A lot of patients come to me and kind of do a dual.
Okay.
So it's just, you know, and I work closely with the patient's doctors as well.
Okay.
So it's just not, you know, I like continuity,
Okay.
you know, when I'm doing things with people, and make sure we're following through protocols and everything. Because my background, too, is medicine as a NP and PA. So it's really important. But really, for people to know about inflammatory, and look at you, you look absolutely beautiful. You didn't have inflammatory, but you had a mass. And, you know, it's still the journeys are journeys. They're journeys.
Yes, but I do know that the vitamin C does work because I did have that.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
I found it in Palm Springs.
Okay, okay.
I didn't know you were here doing it.
I know.
But I push that because it helps.
It helps. Yes.
I mean, like, I had, because of the radiation, you know, I have the, and I had darkness all here. And I'm telling you, I was thinking, and be it we're vain or whatever, I am vain sometimes.
We're human, okay? We're human.
I could not, I was like, this is not happening. And so another one of the girls in my group told me about it. And I thought, when you going again? And I was kind of scared because I'm so sick of needles.
Yes.
Because you're like a push cushion.
Yes.
And so I did it. And I thought, okay, I like this. And not only that, with what I was doing, because I'm telling you, for 6 months, I ate hardly nothing. Just this broth soup that I made. And I still have that.
Yes.
At least twice a month.
Well, I need you to make a pot for a friend of mine.
That can be done. I mean, because I cook it
I'm
for
serious.
24 I
Okay.
am too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I go
We'll
by
talk
the
after.
bone and let it, and you can see the marrow come out of the bone. It's unbelievable. In a crock pot for 24 hours. And after that 24 hours, I start kale and this and that. And my daughter loves it. I'm telling you.
But if you see that, now my daughter have her master's in nutrition.
Okay.
And she's a chef as well.
Okay.
So she have like 13 flavors of bone broth soup.
Oh, wow.
It's just that she lives far, and she just had my 10th grandchild.
Oh.
So she doesn't have time to cook.
Oh.
She didn't have 10 children. She has 4. But
I'm a grandmother.
yeah, congratulations.
3 times.
Okay.
Grandma, yeah.
And so she used to prepare it for the patients.
Okay.
So I'm so glad to hear that I can call upon you, because I have a couple people who really need it.
I can.
Yeah.
I will do that for you, Dr. Lee. I
Thank
truly
you.
will. I definitely
Thank
will.
you. What a blessing.
Yes, I'm all for this. I think that this thing can be beat. This
Oh, it can, yeah.
This breast cancer thing. We just have to focus and pay attention.
And be around positive people like yourself. You know, you said you would even go to the hospitals with the person or their doctor's appointment.
I will. I
You know,
have.
positive. You have to, you know,
Yeah.
get laughter and do things. See a funny movie. Go out. If you don't have friends, just maybe tune into yourself. Because there's a couple questions that I ask a patient who come to me. I don't care what your diagnosis is. I'm going to ask this.
Okay.
And number 1 is, do you feel loved?
Are you asking me? Yes.
I know you do.
Oh.
I know. I see it. And the second question I know your answer as well is, do you love yourself?
Absolutely.
And I look people dead in their eyes and ask them, do they love themselves?
Yeah.
Because when you don't truly love you, and people have these abnormal cells, so I do home visits, well, concierge services, and I went to this lady and she had all her family sitting around the table, and I asked her the question and she just looked at me. And she looked at me. She said, well, when you come back next time, I'll have an answer. I mean, wow.
Okay.
Needless to say, the family did not know she didn't feel loved or didn't love herself. The family didn't know that. So I'm so glad. I do things in the family groups usually anyway, because I need for the family. It's family support.
It's important.
It is.
Yeah. And my family is all over the globe. And not just my family, but my friends.
Yes.
You know, I have good friends.
Yes.
You know, even
Now you have added one more.
okay.
Me.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yes.
But yes, I have good friends. I have even the ones you have to let go. You just have to let them go. I'm okay with that. But I wish them well. But it's I did comedy. I went on YouTube. I watched Tyler Perry stuff. Anything that made me laugh, I laughed. And I laughed.
I wanted to meet him and let him know that while people having IVs, I have some of his movies going.
You have to.
Yeah, so they watch a funny movie. I give them a lot of educational material to watch, but you're going to actually sit there and see a funny movie. You're not going to leave my office without any laughter. We're going to have that.
It's so important. And going through my first chemo treatment, I was more scared than anything.
Yes.
And after I got home, I thought, like, I feel fine. And 2 hours later, I thought, ooh, what is this? But I went to sleep, woke up, and I was ready. I had the comedy already. So I watched it over and over and over for 6 months. I watched comedy. I mean, there's a lot of funny comedians out there. So I just watched them. I just watched them, and I thought, this is crazy. One time my daughter yelled, and she says, Mommy, what are you watching now? The same stuff, but it's still funny.
Yeah, and even though you know the punchline, so.
Yeah, and it's still funny. So, but it helped. And then, you know, I just would tell my mom, even my sister, she'd be like, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I'd be horrible.
And you look absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel fine
radiant.
today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Radiant.
Yeah, it was a ride. It was a walk. I don't wish it on anyone, but if you have to, don't be scared of it. That's the key. Don't be afraid of it, because it's it's about winning.
Yes.
It's just about winning. It's like, I'm waking up today and I'm doing what I do. I don't care if it take me 20 hours to do it. It's getting done. I'm doing it. I did laundry. I did dishes. I cleaned the bathroom. Certain smells I couldn't take. So, you know, I went out, but I would wear a mask because of the germs. You know, and your immune system is beat up. But you can win.
Yes.
And it's about winning.
Yes.
You know, and I was cool at home because, again, I write. That's what I do. And when I started this, I had like 3 episodes. I have 16 episodes written now.
Oh, my
so,
goodness.
yeah. So I'm ready,
I
TV.
cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch it on the screen.
I can't wait either. I can't wait.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. But it's, if you don't mind me saying, it kept me going, and it's a comedy drama. And even reading it made me laugh sometimes, because I used a lot of what my daughter and I experienced.
Yes.
Because my life with her is, because I'll call her my start over child.
Yes.
And it's like, we always think we're raising our children, but I realize that she has re-raised me.
How beautiful.
Yes, she is. And that's how I wrote the sitcom. It's like, you know what? I am learning every day through you, little girl, and she makes me laugh.
Well, I'm going to include, we're going to talk, because my book, I'm finishing up.
Okay.
It's an audiobook. And there is a chapter through the eyes of a child. That's the chapter.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk to you about that, because I want to get some of the insight with you and your daughter to kind of go on that chapter.
Okay.
Through the eyes of
Awesome.
the child, because through the child's eyes is totally different from what we view and what we see and what we remember sometimes as an adult. But if you ask, just kind of see through their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. And when you said that, it reminded me of that chapter in my book. So
That's nice.
yeah, it's an audiobook. We're now translating into a written book, because several people have want to see that into a movie because of the journeys and journeys and journeys.
Okay.
But we're going to be there together.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And ladies, we're going to be there together. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah. But any kind of cancer, you know, just
Exactly.
fight to win. You know,
Yes.
and the doctor, I'm not saying don't listen to your doctor, but I'm saying think outside the box.
Yes.
It's not always about the medication. And I'm not saying don't take your medication, but think outside the box.
Yes. You know, because I had a gentleman who had the abnormal cells, and he was living in a very toxic relationship.
Oh, wow. That's on
And I
itself.
saw that when they both came to the clinic.
Okay.
And so, you know, you could just feel it. You know, you could feel joy and happiness. You could feel the That's why they said, oh, that tension was so thick and cut it with a knife.
Right.
Yeah, well, I felt it. And it was like, oh, my goodness. And the sad thing about it, that he had to go through a divorce. And as soon as he made up in his mind, this is what I'm going to do, because she actually never said she loved him. And when he did that, and he only had like 4 or 5 IVs with me and some other treatments. Now, for the aggressiveness of what was going on in your body, that did not cause his cancer to disappear.
Right.
But he went back to the VA hospital, and they tested him and did everything and PET scan and said, you are free. So he was free on so many levels, you know, the level with the relationship, and got out of that toxic. You cannot live in a toxic relationship.
You cannot.
You can't.
Cannot.
I don't care if it's husband, wife, children.
Dog, cat.
you can't, because it will start pulling against your cell tissue, your DNA. It's going to destroy who you are. So it's important that you don't, you know, and set your mindset to things to be happy. And when you start seeing more positive things do happen. So our thoughts are very, very powerful as well.
Yeah.
So if you think wellness, think healing, think, you know, the person walking in the door is not going to come in with an attitude, you know, things start changing. And just kind of put them in a light, meditate, pray over them.
Yeah.
You know, you
that's
have
important.
to do that along with yourself. So it's journeys, and you have been on
I have.
a journey, and I'm glad you turned it into a book, and now something we can laugh at. So I want my patients who are kind of going through it, and people with loved ones, you know, get the book, so they can start reading it now.
Now, the book, that's from my past life.
Okay.
The book that I'm writing for the breast cancer, that's called Fighting Back.
Okay, Fighting Back.
Yeah,
okay.
that's called Fighting Back. I'm writing that now.
Okay.
And
How soon?
I'm looking for in the next 6 months I should be done and published. I
Okay.
should have that done, because this and it's really about what I went through and how I felt. And just don't be afraid to step out and take a chance. It's, you know, if the doctor says that you need 2 weeks to if you have to have chemo, maybe you need 3 weeks. And, you know, and people need to stop being afraid to talk to their doctor. Because I went to my doctor and I said, let me tell you something. I am a crybaby all of a sudden, and I'm going to cry some days, and I need you to come with me. He came and held my hand through chemo sometimes. My brother used to beat me there. And,
Oh, my goodness.
And my oldest brother, I love him. I do. But he used to be a big brother. And, you know, you think, like, it's my brother. But my brother showed me that he loved me. He would beat me to the center. And I'd be like,
my
where you come
goodness.
from? And he'd go, I'm going to sit right here with you a little bit. And I'd be like, okay. I'd be asleep. He'd be eating. Because they feed you when you get chemo a lot.
Oh, they do?
Oh, my goodness.
I never talk about that with my patients.
Yeah, they feed you a lot. You can do everything in there. But my doctor would be sitting there. He was so cool. And now we just laugh when I go see him. Yeah.
Oh, my
As of
goodness.
January, I became cancer-free. And 3 weeks ago, I got diagnosed as I'm cancer-free. So I'm good. And I'm staying cancer-free.
Hallelujah. Wonderful. What a blessing. What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You just got to win.
Yes.
But you have to want it.
Yeah, you have to want it.
Anything
And you have
toxin.
to want to live.
Oh, for sure.
For those who don't want to live, and if they believe their doctor and you say you have 3 months to live and you fall into that, you will be gone. You will not be here.
Oh, no, you won't
will
be.
not. And I've seen that happen a lot of times too.
Yeah.
But I do want to make sure, make it clear to people that who are listening, because not only we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month, that wonderful C word I don't like, but I want to say that I do have a male spokesperson for men who have had, because when he was in his 20s, he had a mastectomy, and he's in his 50s now. So this is why I test men, women, and teenagers and young girls, because inflammatory breast cancer is hitting, I think it's up to, 14% men now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. but
And
that's
they're not
huge.
knowing, because they just think I just have this rash or I have some itching on my chest. And because of diet and estrogen, and diet is so high in estrogen dominant diets now that, it's hitting a lot of our men. So an inflammatory now with teenagers is very high. A lot of teenagers are actually passing away of breast abnormal cells, inflammatory breast cancer. So I want to say, please, early, come in yourself, bring your children with you, and let's all have this test done using infrared heat, which is heat physiology test. It's no heat that's going to touch your body.
Right.
It's non-painful. You don't feel a thing. But, there's the cameras, and then there's the one I have. Because we're also finding that a lot of it is linked to people who have had root canals. So, if you had any root canals, I always tell everybody, get a cavitation done, get that cleaned out from the root canal. Now, I'm not an advocate of root canals because the way they did them in the past, and I had a dentist on my show, is they would only remove a small portion of the root and not all of it, because it goes all the way up. It's pretty high in the face. And it leads to a meridian in the body. Wow. And one lady who had breast pain so bad was sitting in her dental office, and as soon as he cleaned that out where it was going to the breast, the pain in her breast went away while she was sitting there.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, it's so important that you know that your teeth, because all of these diseases actually start in the mouth.
Wow.
A lot in the mouth. So when you're diagnosed, make sure you see someone who can test the meridians to see what's going on there too.
Okay.
And a lot of dentists don't believe in it. Biological dentists do. I'm with a dentist who is not biological. She might as well be. I had her on the show, Dr. Tan, because she's very thorough.
Okay.
And with her, I was able to find out a lot of things happening
Wow.
that some holistic dentists didn't even pick up. So, she's affordable, and she takes insurance.
Oh.
So your initial visit is less than $50. You can't beat that.
Right.
To know exactly what's going on, which you're from here to the top of your head, you will know
Right.
about your teeth.
Wow.
Yeah, so I want to say that those who are listening, I want to thank you from my heart, from all the valves of my heart, all four, but all chambers. But I want to thank you so much for being here today,
Thank you.
and especially calling at the last minute. I really thank you for that. I really honor your presence of being here, being a guest on the show. And our topic was inflammatory breast cancer and health. So take care of your health, love yourself, and love each other. I know we're about ready to close, but if you could take like 15 seconds and look into the eyes of that person, what would you want to tell them? Just a couple of seconds here. I'm sorry.
Hi, it's Carlita. I'd like you to take care of yourself. Women, check your breasts. Men, check your breasts. Pay attention to what you're eating. Pay attention to what you're drinking. They always say you are what you eat. You also are what you drink.
And on that, I want to say ditto.
Thank you.
And also, it's what you think. So
Absolutely.
what you think, eat, drink, smoke. So be very careful what you're out there smoking. And some of you think you might be smoking something good, and it's an herb. There's a lot of CBDs on the market. We know that the marijuana situation is moving. The CBDs are great. I use them a lot in my practice. With a wonderful company right now, Healthy Place Botanical, that has some wonderful CBDs. Actually, you can own your own dispensary online without spending any money.
Oh, wow.
And they have some great CBD products. So I want to say that I am so grateful again for your being here. And again, each one, please do your self-examination. Look at your body. Look at your teenage girls, because we're so ready to just clothe and wrap up. Look at them, because they're not going to really pay attention. But if you have teenage girls and sons, please, from 12 up, we're finding this now. So you want to take a look at their bodies,
Right.
and if they say, Mom, I got this whatever going on with my nipples or around the tissue, including men, pay close attention. Let's get that checked out right away. And if
Right.
you're watching from another state, just about everyone in some one state is doing thermography scanning. So, call me, visit my website. You see the machine, what I'm talking about, wellnesshealthcare.com. You'll see the machine there. But make sure you go somewhere and get the test done.
Okay.
I'm not a big advocate on mammograms, but, get your test done. Ultrasound, get it done. But if it's inflammatory, it will not be seen on an ultrasound or a mammogram. So I prefer you do this one first before, doing anything else. So again, I want to thank you so much for being here. Please, each one, share this show with your friends, because you never know what another person is going through and how this could be actually uplifting for them as they go through their journey, because things happen so fast. So thank you for tuning in to New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. I had a wonderful guest today, as always. Thank you, thank you. And as I always say, how do I end my show? That take this into yourself. We know the I am is so powerful. Now repeat after me. I am
So grateful
that I am a magnet for miracles. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Each one love and hug someone today.
Thank you.
Join us every Wednesday live at 11 a.m. for New Wellness TV with Dr. Lee. Remember, healthy mind, healthy body.